Hello again, Mr. Naughton here. We are continuing our unit on addictions, alcohol, drugs, and tobacco. And today we're going to be talking about blood alcohol concentration. So, when anyone consumes alcohol, it is going to be absorbed or digested in the stomach or the small intestines and go into the bloodstream. And as soon as the alcohol enters the bloodstream, there is a way of measuring how much someone has drank based on how much alcohol is in the bloodstream, and it's known as blood alcohol concentration. So the amount of alcohol that's actually found in the blood shortly after drinking alcohol. So to set everything equal, you're looking at one standard drink of each type of alcohol. So you're looking at about 1.25 ounces of 80 proof alcohol, which is about 40% liquor of alcohol. And it's like a standard, people call it a standard shot of alcohol or of liquor. You're looking at 10 ounces of wine cooler, 12 ounces of beer, and 5 ounces of wine. So each of these equal one standard drink. So when people are drinking these different drinks, these are all equal to one standard drink when it talks about blood alcohol concentration. Each one of these drinks takes about an hour to an hour and a half to completely break down in the body. That's why when we're talking about blood alcohol concentration and being sober versus being drunk, time is the only thing that can sober a person up and sober the body up. So the immediate effects on body and behavior. Since alcohol does not have to be digested, it can be absorbed directly through the stomach wall and into the bloodstream, and it even goes directly into the small intestines and absorbed into the bloodstream there. So alcohol doesn't really need to be digested. It almost immediately goes into the bloodstream pretty quickly after it's consumed. So some immediate effects of drinking alcohol: blurred vision, slurred speech, and dulled sensations. As a result of drinking alcohol, you'll have less dreaming time, less REM sleep, ultimately getting less quality sleep, high blood pressure, and your heart rate actually increases. It actually speeds up, but this is a long-term effect. Blood flow to skin increases, which means you lose body heat more. So alcohol's when it's in the body, the liver is one of the liver's role is to break down alcohol for elimination, to eliminate it. Liver is used to store nutrients and create bile to be able to break down other unnecessary items in the body. Also, one of its roles is to break down alcohol and eliminate it. The stomach and the small intestine is where alcohol is absorbed into the bloodstream. Those are the two main areas. It's actually about 70 to 80% absorbed in the bloodstream through the small intestine, and the other 30 to 20% is absorbed into the stomach. And then kidneys, while someone is drinking alcohol, actually produces more urine. This is eliminating actually more water, as well as trying to eliminate the alcohol fast out of the body. This is why alcohol is a diuretic. It actually takes water out of the body and takes necessary water out of the body from all parts of the body. So when we're talking about levels of blood alcohol concentration, we're talking about starting from a 0.000, which means no alcohol. When someone has about one standard drink within an hour, they'll be at about a 0.015, and people usually call this somewhat of a pleasant sensation, a more sociable sensation. People are feel a little bit relaxed. A drink and a half to 2 drinks gets you at about 0.03. This is when babbling, not being able to make sense with words, and your decrease in coordination will start. At 0.04, which is about 2 standard drinks, this is where memory starts to go, memory impairment. At 0.05, about roughly around 2 to 2.5 drinks, maybe even closer to 3 drinks, people have difficulty walking, slower reaction time, and weaker judgment. At 0.08, and there's a reason why it is labeled a little bit differently, is because you are 4 times more likely to have a chance and a risk for a car accident. And this is about 3.5, just under 4 drinks would put a standard adult at 0.08. 0.10, 7 times more likely to get into a car accident, and your reaction time is even slower. So we're getting into the really, really dangerous levels, especially if people are getting behind the wheel. There's a reason why 0.08 is the legal limit, even though there's an increase in chances for a car accident. At 0.15, which is about 5 to 6 drinks, you're actually 25 times more likely for the chances of a car wreck. At 0.20, very poor performance and very poor judgment. Not being able to walk straight, not being able to stand up straight, not being able to make good judgment calls. And that's at about 8 to 9 drinks. At 0.30, this is when usually people become unconscious. We're talking about roughly about 9 to 10 drinks would bring someone to about a 0.30. 0.40, people have been known to go into comas, and their respiration, their breathing would be slow, to where people could think that the other person might be dead. And when we get to 0.5 is when breathing stops. We call it respiratory arrest, and death can occur. So these are the levels starting from 0.015 all the way to 0.50, just to give you an idea of drinking, especially in one sitting, and what it could do to the blood and then eventually to the body and the brain. Now, there's going to be different factors that play the role of your blood alcohol concentration in either increasing or decreasing, and it has a few dependents. So gender plays a big role. Actually, a female's blood alcohol concentration increases faster, so it takes less drinks for a female to raise her levels of blood alcohol concentration. Females metabolize alcohol slower because they have fewer stomach enzymes that actually break down alcohol. So there's more alcohol in the bloodstream faster, and it increases their blood alcohol concentration. So for women, there's a difference between women and men. That's why it's never a good idea for women to be drinking the same amount as their male counterparts if they are choosing to drink. Weight also has a big role in blood alcohol concentration. The heavier the person is, the concentration increases more slowly. The lighter the person is, the faster the blood alcohol concentration increases. So weight plays a big role. Food in the stomach plays a role as well. Foods help slow the absorption of alcohol, and it's not food after someone has had something to drink. Their food needs to be in the stomach before someone starts drinking for it to actually absorb any of the alcohol up. Even if they're eating while drinking, it's still not going to have the same effect of if there's food in the stomach before. So food plays a role as well in blood alcohol concentration. And then carbonation. We just kind of look at it as bubbles. If there's carbonation in the drink, it actually speeds up the absorption of alcohol in the body. So if someone is having mixed drinks or someone is having drinks where there's carbonation, the actual alcohol gets into the blood much more quickly, can make a person feel the effects of the alcohol much faster. So when we look at a number of standard of drinks, between males on the top and females on the bottom, this is within a roughly 1 to 2 hours of drinking. So as you can see, a male who weighs around 100 pounds who had 1 drink, they're at a 0.043, and if they have 2 drinks within an hour, they're already above the legal limit. And as you can see, the weight goes up and up and up, and higher, as the weight goes higher, the level of blood alcohol concentration lowers with the numbers of drinks. For females as well, as you can see, for a female who is 80 to 100 pounds, if they've had just 1 drink within an hour to 2 hours, they are almost at their legal limit at 0.052 and 0.05 respectively. And if they have 2 drinks within that hour to 2 hours, they're already well above the legal limit. And we're talking about the legal limit for people who are 21 years or over. So as you can take a look at this chart, and you can see what the standard measurements are for a standard drink based on the weight between males and females. So the effects of alcohol on the brain. Alcohol will affect different parts of the brain at different times. So the first part will cause that alcohol causes effects on the brain is in the frontal lobe, in the front area of the brain. As soon as someone starts drinking alcohol, they'll start having lower inhibitions, weaker willpower. They might start feeling good, loss of control, altered judgment, and their attention span will be dulled. It won't be as quickly. This is just a reminder that your frontal lobes are still developing into your early 20s and even as late as 25, 26 years old. The blood alcohol concentration is represented as 0.01 or higher is when the alcohol is affecting the frontal lobe. The second part of the brain that is affected is the psychomotor area, to where like slurred speech, difficulty writing, and staggered movements happen. And that's from about 0.1 to 0.2 blood alcohol concentration. The third part is the visiopsychic areas. This is when someone is in this area after drinking too much alcohol, they'll start getting double vision. They'll have more difficulty hearing, seeing. They can't judge distance, and they can't judge motion as well. The reaction times are very, very dulled. That would be 0.12% blood alcohol concentration or higher. The fourth area of the brain is the cerebellum. When someone is at a 0.20 blood alcohol concentration or higher, they'll have complete loss of balance and depressed reflexes. Their reflexes will, not react to, to certain things. And then the fifth part is the vital center. This is at 0.4 or higher. The body temperature lowers down, the depressed breathing happens, and the lowered heart rate happens. And then if you get up to 0.5 blood alcohol concentration, 0.50%, death will occur. The brain and heart will shut down, and breathing will shut down. The respiratory system will shut down. So death will occur at this point. So, some vocabulary regarding changes in the alcoholic brain, or changes in the brain when it's consuming alcohol. Tolerance. Body needs increasingly larger amounts of alcohol to achieve the original effect. So when someone's building up a tolerance, it's going to take more and more to be able to feel the same effect of what they felt the first time. So if it took a person one drink to get drunk, and as someone builds up tolerance, then it's going to take more and more and more. And this is a gradual process where it'll increase by more and more and more until it actually has a reverse effect. And we'll talk about that in a second. And this increases in early and middle stages of alcoholism. So when someone is actually building up a tolerance for alcohol, they're actually becoming addicted to alcohol. Dependence. This is what happens when the brain actually develops a chemical need for alcohol and cannot function normally without it. The brain craves the alcohol and has become dependent upon getting the alcohol for the feeling that it gets when the alcohol is consumed. An addiction. The drinker no longer has control over his or her drinking. Their cravings or strong emotion, and they need to use alcohol. So not only are they dependent on it, but they're addicted to it. They don't have control over the drinking. Their cravings are so strong and their emotional need is so strong that they have to do whatever they can to get alcohol into their system. And then a reverse tolerance. And this is what happens in the later stages of alcoholism, where a person will drink so much and the liver will be damaged so much that it'll actually take less and less alcohol to cause intoxication. So a lot of alcoholics see this in the later stages of their alcoholism because they've damaged their body and their liver so much that there's actually a reverse tolerance. Some other terms related to alcohol: binge drinking. Drinking excessive amounts of alcohol in a short period of time. 2/3 of all underage drinkers actually binge drink. They don't just drink a few drinks here and there, they actually binge drink. So they excessively drink a lot of alcohol in a very, very short period of time. And then blackouts. Blackouts are moments of being conscious but not being able to recall those memories or those moments or periods of time. And blackouts can occur and they can last a few minutes, a few hours, or even a long extended period of time. Blackouts should not be confused with passing out. Passing out is drinking to a point of becoming unconscious. Blacking out is drinking to a point of not being able to recall those memories or those periods of time, but you're still active. Fetal alcohol syndrome is the effects of alcohol seen in the children born to women who have used alcohol during pregnancy, and this is this is an illness that affects the child that is in the womb. Some doctors believe that any amount of alcohol during pregnancy can put the baby at risk, and all doctors agree that most of the damage is done during the first 12 weeks of development. This includes time before a woman even knows that she is pregnant. It takes a long time for a woman to be able to take a pregnancy test to see if she's pregnant. And so if people are consuming alcoholic beverages on a regular basis and then they find out that they're pregnant, they could be at risk of damaging their child with fetal alcohol syndrome. And as you can see in the top right, fetal alcohol syndrome has many physical deformities as well as mental retardation and mental deformities as well. So the one thing that doctors tell women a lot is if they're planning on being pregnant, if they're having sexual intercourse, that they should not be drinking alcohol. It is preventable, but it is not irreversible. If someone finds out they're pregnant and they're heavy drinkers, just because they stop immediately does not automatically make them safe of the child not getting fetal alcohol syndrome. And just remember, the one way to prevent fetal alcohol syndrome is to not drink alcohol. Alcoholism, and we're going to talk about this in our next unit, is a disease. There's some programs that people can look up or people can go to if they are having trouble with drinking alcohol. Alcoholics Anonymous is just AA. It's a recovery program for alcoholism. They can never drink alcohol again, but they understand that they need to stop one day at a time. They understand that there's no cure and they can fall back at any time or any day in their life. And they have to essentially arrest the disease with total abstinence and just taking alcohol away for the rest of their life. Al-Anon is for families and friends of alcoholics. It's a support group and programs for people who are affected by people who are alcoholics. And Alateen is actually a program for children of alcoholics. And we put the website in here for Alcoholics Anonymous. You'll also be able to get Al-Anon and Alateen information as well if you know someone, or you are a child of an alcoholic, or you know someone who is a family or a friend of an alcoholic, to where these programs could help give good information and give people the help that they do need. That is all that we have for today. Thank you for listening. Until next time, this is Mr. Naughton signing off.